Hello my friends and welcome, my name is Dennis and this is the latest update from Ukraine. Let's start this video from the review of the Kursk operation of Ukraine. Yes, Ukraine started a new offensive operation from the other spot. It goes quite successfully. Ukraine continued to use artillery, tanks and even aviation bombs. However, at the same time we also see that Russia goes with their counteroffensive, causing even some of the losses for Ukraine. Yet they failed to reach the tactical success, taking just few villages under control, and Russians were stopped not far away from Lyubimivka by Ukrainian army, so Ukraine caused severe devastations for the Russian convoys. From this picture I may say that Russia failed to get the tactical success or initiative from Ukrainian side in the Kursk region. Still, Ukraine has many of the ways of how to push the Russian army in this region, also creating the threat for the Russian army in this place. Here's the southern area closer with the Ukrainian counteroffensive attempt, and this bottleneck is not that huge for the Russian side. I guess it's around 8 kilometers, not more. So now Russians have a dilemma whether to continue offensive or withdraw their army from this place. And I don't see many options for the Russian side. I believe that they'll withdraw their army and Ukraine will gain this territory, well, this part back under control and this territory even more. It means that in general the Russian counteroffensive was not planned correctly from the Russian military command. And let's go to this side where Ukraine even used the aviation bombs. We're speaking about Vesela village, and recently it's been confirmed that Ukraine took more ground. Here's Vesela village. Ukraine has multiple of the attack vectors there, and recently Ukraine gained more territory. Ukrainian armed forces were spotted in this place already, so there's a movement forward by Ukrainian side, which is a good sign. In Vesela there was the main Russian base over here in this building. The building was just kaputted by Ukrainian gliding bomb. We have even this video showing before and after, so the Russian base was totally kaputted. So not just Russia is capable to use the aviation gliding bombs, and in general Ukraine uses aviation a lot in the Kursk operation. Well, not F-16s, but MiG-29, Sukhoi 27s and Sukhoi 25s, well, quite a lot are used in this operation. Finally, the Akhmat battalion commander Aludinov admitted that some of the Akhmat soldiers voluntarily surrendered for Ukrainian army, and he said that they do not exist for him any longer and Ukraine may keep those prisoners for themselves. They will not exchange those who voluntarily surrender. Mostly in the Sudzha town they tried to run away at first, but it was too late. Alright, what we have here are the cooling water towers for the Kursk nuclear power plant. The shot was taken by Ukrainian drone. It means that Ukraine is not that far away from Kurchatov nuclear power plant, or Kursk, it's better to say, nuclear power plant. Well, maybe the objective of the entire Kursk operation was to propel to reach this position. The Ukrainian General Command doesn't tell the real aims of the Kursk operation. They say that it's successful, and yes, from the tactical perspective, indeed it is. Guys, if you like the job that I do daily on YouTube, you may also consider supporting me on Patreon. The link for my Patreon page I'll put in the video description right below. Thank you so much for maintaining my motivation. Alright guys, we're gonna return to Ukrainian topic very fast. For now, I want to talk about one more assassination attempt of Donald Trump. And this guy, whose name is Ryan Roth and who is the main suspect in the case, he actually prepared some of the automatic rifles to shoot Donald Trump during his golf game. And unfortunately, this guy shares the pro-Ukrainian narratives. So how it all happened yesterday at the afternoon. Trump was playing the golf in the Palm Beach Golf Club. Then some of the shots were heard and immediately media reported about some of the shooting, which is not connected to Donald Trump, which is kind of the strangest for me because usually there are no shootings near the golf clubs. And around 1 hour later, CNN finally came out with this statement. Officials believe an armed individual intended to target former President Donald Trump. And later on, the security officials released a statement that definitely it was the assassination attempt of Donald Trump. The shooting itself, however, wasn't started by an attacker, but by the Secret Service member. This time, the Secret Service acted in a much better way, actually preventing the assassination itself. So the last time Trump was just lucky, and here it was the prompt action. Good job, Secret Service. Here you can see that FBI shares those kind of the photos. You may spot some of the bags. They say that there is even GoPro inside, and this is the AK-74, I believe, with some of the aiming equipment. Well, I think that AK is not that popular rifle in the United States, however, you may still get it. Probably it's even AK-47, the older option of this rifle, which you may still register in the United States in many of the states with automatic fire option. About the golf court, here was the Trump's position and here was the position of the shooter. The distance was up to 400 meters. The Secret Service agent spotted the suspicious guy, opened the fire, and the guy ran away into his car and later on was captured. And here we have the guy Ryan Wesley Ruth, who is the main suspect in this case, and definitely it looks like he is behind all of that stuff. He really prepared the assassination on Donald Trump, which is crazy. Well, this guy is definitely sick. He is mentally unstable, but he shared the pro-Ukrainian values, which plays a very bad role for Ukraine right now. He wanted to go to the Foreign Legion of Ukraine. We even have the video published by the Newsweek dated from a couple of years ago. They took the short interview of this guy. Let's listen to it.
What are you doing here in Ukraine?
My initial goal was to come and fight. I think everybody around the globe should be motivated to come here and support the Ukrainians and support the army, no matter what gender, age, anything. Everybody should be here supporting the army. But I'm 56, so initially they were like, well, I have no military experience, so they're like, you're not an ideal candidate. So they said, not right this minute. So plan B was to come here to Kyiv and promote getting more people here. We need thousands and thousands and thousands of people here fighting with the Ukrainians. We need we've got 190 countries around the world, and we need thousands from all of them. If the governments will not send their official military, then we civilians have to pick up the torch and make this thing happen. And we've gotten some wonderful people here, but it's a small fraction of the number that should be here. If we have 5,000, to 10,000 people here fighting, that is just a minuscule amount of the 5 billion people on the globe. We need everyone here fighting. That's why I'm in Kyiv. So every project that I promote is about getting people here to support the Ukrainians. Here, if you have no skills, just come. We need to be cheerleaders. Just being here and saying, hey, I support the Ukrainians and I support human rights and I support good and generosity and caring and kindness and altruism, and it's just we need to show the world that we care, and it's essential. If you don't do any work at all, just being here and supporting and showing them that we care for our fellow human beings.
Yep, the guy is like that, and let's be honest, it shows Ukraine in a very bad light in the United States politics. But the guy is also very sick. As you understood, he wasn't taken to Ukrainian Legion, even though he was below 60 years old, which is usually the age limit. But he hadn't had any sort of the military experience. He tried to apply there, but he wasn't taken. And here he shares his amazing plans of taking the Polish planes and flying to Poland to buy the planes and then go to bomb Putin. Well, definitely shows that he lives in his parallel reality. But obviously this guy was inspired first of all by his own thoughts and later on by many of the influencers. That's why, guys, right now from this moment, I'm stopping to tell you about the American politics. I've deleted all of the anti-Trump videos on my other channel. I've recorded those that the military bill for Ukraine was blocked by the MAGA group. But now I see that this rhetoric plays a bad role for Ukraine and for the United States. Just imagine if this guy was successful in his attempt, like pro-Ukrainian guy assassinates Donald Trump. It's just crazy. It would have created chaos inside the United States and relative to Ukraine as well. You may like Trump or you may dislike him, but he's been supported by millions of Americans, tens of millions of people, Americans. The Americans like other Americans who support, for example, Harris. I mean, with the anti-Trump speeches or anti-Harris speeches, we are actually dividing the American society. It is what it is, guys. I did a mistake. Also speaking about the American politics from my own perspective. Yes, you understand my preferences, but I will not tell those any longer. But I will keep neutral reviewing those. Yes, the American politics really influences Ukraine. But if I, for example, will tell Trump is bad, don't vote for Trump, Trump is very, very bad for Ukraine, the guys like Ryan might listen to me or other YouTubers and they might do the same act, which could potentially mess up everything. So I'm really happy that Trump is alive, that we are now into this chaos situation. Kamala Harris and Joe Biden also shared their criticism towards the attack. There is no place for violence in the United States. I agree with that, and they also condemned this act. And it's outstanding, you know, in 3 months there is one more assassination attempt. It's crazy. So why is it happening? Well, I think because of the hate from both of the sides. And such mentally unstable people like Ryan Ruth will listen to some of the media or maybe some of the influencer, and they would start to act because they don't have breaks in their head. That's why I'm changing the rhetorics of this channel. I understand that I was wrong blaming one side of the American politics, because after all it might play a very bad role as I see for Ukraine and for the United States. Also, I'm calling other influences to stop blaming Trump, for example, because it actually creates a national division inside the United States. It plays, I think, the Putin's favor. So you will not hear that stuff from me any longer. In general, I think it's the good news, because I got tons of the comments, Dennis, please stop talking about the United States politics. Well, I'll continue to talk about it, like just some general news like today, for example. Well, still I'm keeping my opinion with me, but I'll not share it on this channel. The guy was arrested, he is alive, it's a good part of the story, so he might tell to investigators what was his main motive. Some of the Ukrainian accounts say that Ryan Ruth has no relation to International Legion. He is misrepresenting himself and lying to many people. The post dated from the summer this year. At the same time, I wasn't able to prove this identity. The Russian propaganda immediately started to spread the disinformation that Ukraine organized all of that. Also, we heard the same narratives from some of the American politicians, but I'm sure that Ukraine is not behind this. Because first of all, it's not profitable for Ukraine at all. Will Trump change his rhetorics towards Ukraine after this event? Well, no one knows. And again, this guy has just a minor connection with reality. Back in 2020, during the protests in Belarus, he called protesters to get weaponry on Amazon. And here he tells how he put the Japanese volunteer into the International Legion, the foreign legion of the Ukrainian armed forces, which is obviously fake. It's not possible.
Got so many units available to us: Georgian, Crimean, Ukrainian, territorial defense, foreign legion. We have, so many paramilitary groups. I put a 74-year-old Japanese guy in a unit.
74 years old is impossible to put in any sort of the unit. It's physically not possible. He wouldn't be hired. It's clearly a lie. Ryan also called Kim Jong-un to visit him in Hawaii. Please come, he says. The post is dated 4 years ago. By the way, his page was deleted by Twitter already. But we have many of the screenshots from his posts, and definitely he is crazy. At the same time, he wasn't the supporter of Israel. He shared other ideas, judging on his posts. So yes, luckily Trump is still alive. It helped us to avoid the major disaster. No matter if you like Trump or not, but it's crucial for him to stay alive, because he's been supported by so many people who influence not just American politics but America itself. Now it is 50-50, like half of the population of the United States. That's why it's important to stay united no matter whom you support. By the way, I'm going to stream the election day. It could be 24-hour stream. It's crazy, yes, I understand, but I'm willing to do so, I've never done it. We'll see how it goes. Just to see the results live, it's kind of interesting. The United States of America is a great country, and it is only because of the democratic institutions applied there. So whoever wins the elections wins those in the democratic way. And we should respect any choice of the American people, because after all, it's democracy. Right now, let's go back to Ukrainian topic, to Ukrainian front lines. It's better to say to progress direction, so it is the situation like that for now. Was yesterday, it is today. You may see the gray area expansion over here, and Ukraine starts to withdraw the forces also from this side before it withdraws the forces from this side, and little by little Ukrainian army is moving to the higher ground in all of those settlements. And also Russia goes ahead in Vodene, so it was yesterday, it is today. They're very, very close to Vuhledar. The situation there is intense. Vuhledar is the key spot for Ukraine to disturb the Russian logistics, and recently Russia intensified their strikes, but it seems like after all Russia will take the settlement before the winter time. They need this railway to be secure because now it's under the Ukrainian artillery fire, so Russia needs the good logistics for the winter campaign to operate in the vast areas of the battlefields. Also, we see that Russia is crawling successfully on the north. In the Kharkiv region, they want to reach Oskil River, and there is the major change of the front lines. Russia took more territories. They're very close to Oskil and up to cut the Ukrainian group in two. This is the only road in the region which is capable to supply Ukrainian forces. Without this road, those two Ukrainian groups will be separated, and we know that Russia targets the bridges, so communication could be kind of difficult for Ukraine in this region. We have the statement from the Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan, who said that negotiations should be reached, but also Ukrainian interests should be accounted. Recently, he also mentioned that Crimea should be deoccupied and belong to Ukraine. Sometimes even Erdogan says the things as they should be. There were some of the logistic issues with the military support of the United States of America. Somehow it slowed down gradually, but nevertheless Jake Sullivan promised the new military package for Ukraine, a big one coming this month. Awesome! Also the good news that Ukraine will obtain the new modification of Bradley M2A4E1. Those units have better defense and equipment, so obviously great news for Ukraine. The contract is signed for $400 million. Ukraine will obtain just a part of those vehicles. Also good news from Italy, they will supply one more SAM-T air defense system to Ukraine. Meanwhile, there's the bad news about the air defense from Netherlands. They wanted to supply the Patriot system to Ukraine, but some of the suppliers disagreed to send some of the part of the equipment. That's why the deal was frozen for that one, unfortunately. Alright guys, I hope you're okay with my decision not to speak about the United States politics from my biased perspective. We're gonna continue to speak about it, but just mentioning the general facts. From now on, I'm not gonna take someone's side. Well, I'm telling you as it is, just my direct thoughts. I want to be honest with you. If you have different opinion, you may comment it in the video description just below. But don't forget to press your huge like to this video. By doing so, you help me a lot. And as usual, I wish you all a peaceful sky wherever you are, and have a great time.